Ola, what's up?
Dude, what's up? Thank you so much for having me at my place.
Again, actually,
Yes.
but this is Coffee with Rick.
Yes.
I don't need to introduce you. I like interviewing other people that do YouTube because it takes the pressure off.
Yeah. But understanding wise, like, you know, what we all go through.
Yeah, and then I don't have to fill or anything. And I was like, Ola can take it for a little bit.
Right. And I understand, like, editing, if there's an awkward silence, I know you will edit it.
That's right.
You know, we can sit and that guy will edit it away.
Ola, so since I've been here, it's been about 2 years, I think, since I've been here, and we're at your place, and your place, like my place, is really set up as it's a video studio. I mean, it's a multi-room video studio.
Yes.
How long have you been doing YouTube now?
More than, I think I started my channel in 2007.
Okay.
So in 2008, 2009, I started doing the amp demos. So what leaves us 16 years or something like that.
How has things changed? Like, if you compare 2015 YouTube to 2025 YouTube, how do they differ?
I think 2015 YouTube was very popular. Basically, there weren't too many other platforms out there. I mean, Instagram was for pictures, Facebook for social media and talking and writing. YouTube was one of the few platforms where you had long-form content. In its prime, I think 2015 was where a lot of people started a YouTube careers, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where YouTube was booming, maybe even. And I was booming as well because YouTube was booming. At that time, I already felt that, okay, it's getting a little bit saturated even at that point. Suddenly everyone was making, you know, amplifier demos and pedal demos and stuff like that. So it was, you know, I needed to up my game. And up to that point, I don't think I was talking in my videos at all. I just played. But I felt like I needed to change something if I'm going to try and stay afloat. So I started talking.
So, because you're in Stockholm, all touring bands that tour in Europe come through here. And it makes it really easy to have people come by here because you have the space set up. Just like I'm in Atlanta and everybody tours through Atlanta. Do you know that people are coming here first and then they reach out to you, or how does that work?
There's a combination. At first I was hunting and basically just, you know, reaching out and saying, hey, I have this. And this was when I started the Coffee with Ola, for instance. That was in my apartment. So it was in our previous bedroom that I set up, and I did a wooden wall and all that. So I would bring, you know, people over to my bedroom and record them there. And all these celebrities came and sat in my bedroom, and in this really tight room with not a lot of space. But, you know, they were happy. Yeah. And I was very happy, of course. But as the channel grew, people started to know who I was and maybe understand the importance of being on my channel. So right now I don't have to hunt at all. It basically gets served artists.
Right.
And it's a lot easier for me because then it's also, I don't have to drive the interviews as much. Back then I had to kind of perform and you know, show my worth a little bit, and now I can sit back a little bit more, and you know, it's a mutual benefit for both the person that I have here and for myself. So there's more of an understanding and more of a exchange, I would say, and that's for both the artist and myself.
YouTube is way more accepted now. I mean, it's pretty much the predominant platform that people go to watch things like podcasts, interviews, all these kind of things. I felt the same way early on that you kind of had to prove that, oh, this is a platform that people can come to. Now I think everybody understands, yes, this is like the biggest platform to be on for things. Now, when it comes to manufacturers and things like that, back then, did manufacturers realize the importance of YouTube? It's the same thing, right?
Some of the brands were earlier than others.
Yeah.
And I got to stick out for Seymour Duncan.
Okay.
It was very early in recognizing what I did. And they basically sent me a whole box of pickups and like, have fun. So that was one of my first experience. I think this is like 2012, really early. And I was super excited because obviously Seymour Duncan, to even have a brand that recognized you, you know, at that point. And I was just so excited. And I will remember this forever and ever. And I still work with Seymour Duncan. And we have a collaboration where, you know, we have a pickup in our guitar. It's called the Duncan Solar. So this is a long-standing relationship that I will never forget. And for me, that's very important.
When do you think that brands really became aware of YouTube, that not only, you know, for coming on your channel, but for their own social media?
I think around the time you mentioned, 2015, 2016 probably, where they understood that, oh, they need to put money into this. And this is basically where the news comes from now. Because you can have, you know, Guitar World and all that, that's great. But the place where you saw the real demos that were not salesy would probably be on my channel or other channels as well, where it's just, you know, the next, you know, girl next door trying out the new amplifier or the new pedal. But, you know, it's closer to the audience than these bigger news article brands or, you know, Guitar World, for instance. It's closer to them to watch the random dude sitting in his bedroom, you know, playing this amplifier. So it's more relatable in that sense. And I think they started to understand this around 2016 or 2017. And I did get a lot of offers back then and a lot of work, I would say. So then I didn't have to hunt for the gear as well. In the beginning, I was borrowing amplifiers from friends and from people all around Sweden. So I would drive around in Sweden on weekends, pick up an amplifier, record it during the weekend, because I had a regular day job up until 2013. I was working as an accountant. But but you know, every weekend I would go to a different city in Sweden and just pick up a new amplifier to record. To the delight of my wife, that you know, we spend a lot of weekends in the car just driving like all over the place.
Well, it's amazing that she would go with you. To do that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then we got kids, and it's a little, you know, a little bit more difficult. But she's always been very supportive. But in 2016, you know, I didn't have to suddenly ask for all these brands. You know, they would just send me the stuff, which is nice.
Okay, so if you're going to check out something, you and I were looking at a pedal earlier because I was like, do you know this pedal? You said no, and I showed you a video. You still use YouTube like I do to see if how does this thing work? Has anyone made any videos on this?
Absolutely.
How do you pick a video to watch?
So I'm very much a tutorial guy. If there's something I don't know, it's YouTube.
Yeah.
And I don't watch the other YouTube channels because I like to stay clear of influence.
Yeah.
So all the other YouTubers in the same like guitar sphere or metal guitar sphere, I would say, I don't watch them because I don't want to be influenced. But as soon as I have no idea what I'm doing, it's YouTube and tutorials. And that's what the main, you know, the main use for people is nowadays. It's basically the tutorial videos. They're racking in the most amount of views. Either that or video games, which I'm also very fond of. But not any like guitar stuff. I don't watch.
I don't consider my channel. I'm not really a guitar channel. I always joke with my friends that have guitar channels, like, how come nobody ever invites me to any of these guitar summit things or whatever?
Right.
It's like because you don't really make guitar videos. I mean, I make some guitar videos, and I have plenty of guitarists on my channel and stuff, but I'm not necessarily known as strictly a guitar channel.
Right.
But I have done things like recorded amplifiers and things like that in the past. I mean, I made 2,000 videos in the last 9 years, but I still use YouTube. I'm like, okay, how does this thing work? How do I choose a video to watch? Do you look at the video that has the most views on something? If you're gonna look at a tutorial, do you go to someone that you know that's a good, like if Pete Thorne is done something, if it's a new pedal or something, does Pete have a video here? Does Ola have a video on this? I always go to people that I know will explain the stuff. Or that sometimes you have the random people. If it's some really odd piece of gear, if I'm looking at some weird Sun amplifier or something, then there's always just some strange video of one person with their iPhone or whatever recording themselves. But how do you decide what to look at?
So actually, when I do watch guitar YouTubes, I mean, obviously I say I don't, but I try not to watch YouTube. But when I do, I absolutely do what you're doing. Like I know the guys I can trust. And then if I want to hear someone play spacious music, I go visit like Rabia Masad. I know he always it's going to be heaven for my ears. Kind of deal. But if I need to go, okay, the down and dirty, you know, Pete Thorne is a great example for this. And but when you start with the obscure, And you go into this like incredible new world of the smaller YouTubers.
Yes.
Which is it's incredible that we still have that.
That's right.
And I usually stop and leave a comment if I go into something small and I start, watching, and I really because there's so many good content creators out there. It's just really, really tough to stay afloat when there's so much and so many YouTubers out there. And right now we're also going to battle AI and AI videos, so it's going to be even tougher to stay afloat. I appreciate a lot of the YouTubers and the grind, because I know the grind they're going through. You often see, just with YouTubers, I can smell immediately if someone's actually interested in the product or not. Like you said, like this obscure Sono amplifier that this one guy, he's just recording with his iPhone. He loves his amplifier.
Yeah.
And, he's like, dude, I got to show the world. And that's what
I love that.
Yeah, that's what I feed off.
Yeah.
And then you see the videos that are sponsored and like, okay, they're very well made and presented, but, product seems cool, but I'm more excited about the guy that's just like jamming in his bedroom, and just having fun with his amplifier. So you have to differentiate. Okay, there's YouTubers at this range that probably obviously get paid to do what they do, and then there's the fan aspect as well, where and that's the beauty of the platform.
Even since the last time I was here, your space here, it's a big area here. You've got multiple rooms, places to shoot and things like that. I'm interested in how your workflow as a creator has changed just since I was here last, in the last 2 years.
I don't think much has changed, but my approach has always been, okay, what do I feel like today? If I go in here every Monday, so I have some routines that I follow, but also I don't have a lot of routines, but every Monday I go in and try to write, like music. So every Sunday I have a Sunday show, which starts with original music every Sunday. So I write for that. That Monday, I gotta have it done. Then I'm just vibing for the rest of the week. Like, okay, I usually put, if I have any products I need to test, I just put them on that chaos table out there.
Yep.
And then I walk about and say like, pick this up, this Appel. Okay, let's try that today. I just want to make videos where I'm genuinely interested, because if I don't have any motivation, it's not going to be good content.
Right.
I have to have good content and good motivations to actually do something. And I think the audience can smell this very fast if I'm not vibing with anything. So I try to just do content of products that I think is exciting for me, like as a touring guitar player or as a studio musician, or I'm not very much into fuzz pedals. I would do a demo here and there just to remind myself why it's fun with fuzz pedals. But most of the stuff I do is for chugging.
Yeah.
And so I'll stay on that course. And I know, you create your own audience. They have an expectation of me to chug, for instance. Right. So I will keep chugging as long as I can, or try to make something chug. My formula and workflow is basically, as long as I'm having fun, I think that people would enjoy the content more. And it's easier for me to be honest towards my audience if everything is done from heart. And, what I really want to do. And it is, after 16 years, there's definitely challenges and ruts where, what the hell do I do today? Is there going to be another video of me just walking around tinkering at the office? Because I do that a lot as well. Like, today I'm thinking about switching out this overdrive on this pedal board and see how that sounds. And it's exactly the same video as last time, but, you have a bunch of pedal boards on a pile right there because, can I make this pedal board a little bit smaller? So this week I'm trying to make it even smaller. So it's really, sometimes it's just very nerdy and very insignificant. But, I have to have those off days to have the good videos too, So you have to let the guard down a little bit and the expectations down that I'm not going to be able to perform all the time. And YouTube views and trends go like this.
Yeah.
And you just have to ride with the wave. There's a lot of people complaining out there about, my views are down or this and this. It's just behavior that changes.
That's right.
And
you're talking the audience's behavior changes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So, people are not going to, there's a saturation. People get more videos recommended to them. Obviously, your video is not going to get as much attention. And there's other platforms. And now people have lives. They didn't have lives during COVID, But now you have to understand that people suddenly have a life to go back to after COVID, for instance. This behavior, you have to understand that it's not something you can do anything about. You just have to ride a wave And I just try to stay afloat. That's basically my whole past 16 years, just trying to stay afloat.
So when I was on my way over here, I play in my show, and I had to make a little pedal board, but I had to make it small enough to be able to carry it. So it's like, okay,
love this.
What do I need? Well, I need a tuner, I need one distortion pedal, and I need a delay. I figured that's like, I was thinking like I need a preamp pedal maybe, because I have a backline. It's usually an AC30 or AC15. Those are easy backline things. You know they're going to be.
Oh, they exist everywhere.
They exist everywhere. You know how to use it. You dial in tone. They don't have very many knobs.
Yeah.
You plug in, the pedals go great with it. Okay, what distortion pedal do I bring with me? Well, let's see, what am I going to play? I need something that's not, I don't need too much gain because I'm not doing any chugging or anything. I'm going to play single notes and everything. So, but I have like 150 distortion pedals in my studio. Which one should I take? And it's like, well, this one is kind of too big, takes up too much space, and it's got the in and outs are on the side, and I hate messing with the jacks. Like I literally think about this stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I don't like it if it has the power supply on the side. It needs to be on the end. Yep. You think about stuff like that?
Absolutely, all the time. So it also has
sacrifice some stuff too, right?
Well, I don't care as long as it's functional and small.
Yeah.
You know, I live for stuff like that. How can you make something more efficient? Like, I love efficiency, and we were talking about the workflow and all that. For me, everything has to be set up already, so I can just go like this. So I always like making things more efficient, and pedal boards that's a dream world to make stuff more efficient and smaller. And it's just, okay, how would I be able to survive with the least amount of equipment as possible? Like how small, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
Like how small can you go? No, that's, dude, that makes me excited just talking about it right there.
Do you need to have a tuner on your pedal board? I don't like headstock tuners.
All right, so I'm even like, cables is a problem.
Yeah.
Like get rid of the cables. So you should get like a wireless unit that has a tuner in it.
Okay.
So in my sense, I would have like the Shure, whatever, it's a small thing. So I save a cable, I save a tuner, and it's a small unit, and it makes the pedal board smaller.
Okay.
So that's what I would do, the first step.
Yeah.
For me, it's very easy. I'm just like, okay, and then there's a quad cortex, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just like you, I have backline amplifiers everywhere I go. You know, it's a rectifier or a 5150.
But is your quad cortex going to go into a DI in the front of house,
so
or what?
I still like this, and I just go into a FX loop of an amplifier. There's the possibility to go direct if needed, because you never know if an amplifier is going to break or whatever. But I still love amplifiers, still love air being moved behind me. So I still go into a FX loop somewhere. And just like with the AC, a lot of them just deliver power, and that's all I need. But I still have tinker about with distortion pedals. I have a CHUG pedal, which is like, I don't need anything else sometimes.
Right.
And then the pedal board is this small. And I just love the idea of me coming up to a gig in front of 8,000 people. Like,
if you had to say with the bands that are out touring now, people that you interview, what is the percentage of people that use quad cortexes or, versus amps?
Well, I think that the higher up and more well-known bands, they still use amplifiers to some extent. And the further down you get, there's a switch where you either go to like a neural DSP quad cortex or synergy amplifiers, for instance. Yep. And some of the synergy guys, it's the good middle ground between still staying real amplifiers and modelers.
Okay, for people that don't know the Synergy platform.
Yes, so the Synergy platform is a modular platform where you can have, basically, you buy different preamps and you put that into your system. And they have all these licensed preamps, right? From Soldano, from Friedman, now from Marshall. And basically making a wide array of different preamps available for anyone to purchase without having to purchase a full amplifier. It's basically like a modeler in the sense that you switch out different modules and different preamps, but it
actually has tubes.
Exactly.
I have one. We were talking about this. I have a bunch of modules, and I've had them since it was Randall.
Yeah.
And I probably have 7 or 8 different modules, and my Synergy head has three slots, but each different module has 2 different tubes in them.
Yep. and 2 different channels.
Two different channels, yeah.
Yep. So I see a lot of people that are doing a hybrid rig where they probably have like an effects unit as well go into that. So it's basically like a rack unit with a full amplifier with whatever preamp model they want to use. So it's either the Synergy stuff or like a Tone Master Pro or a Quad Cortex. And usually because the lower, less well-known bands, they probably have a smaller budget. Quad Cortexes fit very well into a smaller budget.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I mean, it's tried and true. They sound great. And it's enough for most people. And even though I romanticize that people in the audience care, they don't. You know? They don't. So
I love that.
No, but
it's true.
But yeah, it's something I have to convince myself that, you know, I don't need 2 120-watt amplifiers on stage. It looks cool, but people don't care.
Right.
It's one guy in front of me that cares. And he's going to be pissed off anyways because I, you know, effed up a lead or a sour bend. You know, so it's really about, I mean, nowadays for flying in, I mean, you can't beat a Quad Cortex in that sense. It's just so small and it sounds so good. You can't deny what the modelers have done to the, you know, for the guitar players. It's amazing.
If you had to say what the percentage of people that you interview, mm-hmm. what is the percentage of Fractal versus Quad Cortex?
I would say that Fractal users were the bigger portion 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Kemper. So Fractal and Kemper.
Yep.
And in the rock and metal world, I wouldn't see Helix being very big. I know like in churches and, you know, all Helix. Helix. But for metal bands, maybe not as significant. There was always Fractal or Kemper and that fight between the two. As the Quad Cortex wasn't necessarily popular when they launched, but now they're really popular, and I think in a lot of stores it's one of the most best-selling modeler, and even best-selling product on Thomann, for instance. I'm not an artist, but I do acknowledge that when things are popular, they're popular, and I think it's because the ease of use. And when I'm out touring, I do see a lot of Quad Cortex in racks, on floors, and it's just very convenient and tried. It works.
Neural DSP has done all these partnerships with players:
mm-hmm.
John Petrucci, Tosin,
mm-hmm.
Tim Henson,
Meshuggah,
Soldano. They have a Soldano.
Corey Wong.
They have many different people they've done partnerships with. A lot of the other companies have not done that. There's no Axe Effects versions of things. Really, Fender hasn't done any partnerships like that I know of. Is that another reason that they've ascended?
I think so. I mean, the thing that they did is that they had the digital platform and the plugins already set. I mean, that's how they started.
Yep.
And they excelled at it. I mean, when the first Meshuggah plugin got released, it was just so much better than everything else. That's when, in my opinion, guitar plugins started to sound real. Before it was fine, but Neural DSP was just on a completely different level. And knowing the amplifier they had in it, which was the Meshuggah amplifier, like a hot-rodded Marshall, I knew what it sounded like, and it sounded like that.
Right.
So very excited for this when this happened. And obviously then they released Gojira and all these other plugins, and it's extremely smart. At that point, it was extremely smart. Now I don't know if it's already too saturated. I mean, people had already bought a lot of the plugins. So in the beginning, I felt like they were releasing artist plugins all the time. Right now, in my eyes, how many 5150 plugins do you need? Because almost all of the metal guys have 5150 plugins in there. So I think they did very well in the beginning, but now they're getting the second wave, which is you can buy the plugins to get them into the Quad Cortex, which is insanely smart.
Yeah.
This is something I think that Neural DSP did very well, because they were a strict digital company at first, but they went hardware, which is a very big step.
Yes.
And a very smart step, because obviously, you know, everyone's releasing plugins. You have the Neural Amp Modeler. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's basically open source modeling plugin, which basically kills the guitar amp plugin business completely, where people can basically model their own amplifiers and it's free. You know, they don't need the plugins. So Neural DSP making that step to hardware was Coincidence, I don't know, but very smart and very good for the brand. And now they're bringing in those plugins into the quad Korg. So, you know, there's another reason to sell more plugins.
Well, I became aware of the company because I bought one of the dark glass, the Alpha.
It's the Alpha Omega, I think.
Alpha Omega, yeah. It was the first one because I was making a carnival video and I wanted to get Jon's bass tone.
Yes.
I was doing a video on Goliath and I held the thing up in the video that this is, in case you're wondering what the bass sound was, and that's really the first time this is before Neural, is that they had dark glass. But that particular one was one of the first ones where I was like, wow, this thing is great.
Yes.
I think I might have learned about it from a YouTube video or something.
Probably. I know a lot of bass players used dark glass stuff back then.
Yeah.
And they were really excelling for bass players. But since it's bass, I didn't really pay attention too much. I mean, I like to chug.
But do you think that some of these other companies should have worked with?
I think it's too late now.
Yeah. Because they basically got all the hot guitar players that they've.
I mean, you can always do preset packs, but do people buy preset packs?
I don't know.
They did back in the day, but now it's like, people already purchased their plugins, and they purchased they got a favorite plugin already. That already sounds very good. So how do you push a new plugin? I mean, I know for a fact when people contact me about new plugins that I'm just not as excited. It's
hard to do anything new. You and I were talking before we started about TuneTrack and about the drum platforms with drum sampling. We'll talk about how you said this about Superior Drums and
that when in the beginning it was only TuneTrack.
Wait, are they based here?
They're in northern Sweden.
Okay.
It was TuneTrack that was leading the drum sample market for plugin format, I would say, and even to the point where some people were using it on albums, and you could hear immediately.
Yes.
Oh, this is Easy Drummer too.
That's right.
I hear that snare.
Yes.
But so they had the best tool for a long time, and there were sample libraries, but people kept going to the TuneTrack tool because the tool was great and easy.
It was very good, yes.
And but suddenly people got more and more sample libraries available, and people purchased more sample libraries, and suddenly you couldn't hear anymore if it was, this particular library or not. So now I think people buy a lot of drum libraries, but then they keep them, and they know they have their go-to libraries where they're like, okay, this is a great library, I'm going to use this, and every library has 20 snares that they can go through, and you don't need 15 different drum libraries then if you already have 15 in one. And so I think people stop buying, and that library aspect gets a little saturated as well. So which is good because it forces brands like TuneTrack to make Easy Bass, for instance, or Easy Mix, which I think are insane products that are very forward-thinking. Mm-hmm. It's good because it pushes them to do stuff like that. They have to. Otherwise, I think people are just going to stop by drum libraries. And everyone's making drum libraries now.
Right.
And how do you differentiate? Well, you have to have the artist. The Gojira drums, or the Slayer drums or whatever. So they really have to put a name on it now to make it interesting. Otherwise, it's just another library of the same snare.
There's a company that makes Omnisphere.
Yes.
And they just came out with Omnisphere 3 after 15 years.
A lot of years.
I bought the first thing that was called Atmosphere back in 2001. I saw in a guitar magazine or keyboard magazine, I saw this thing, Atmosphere, and they had clouds, and I was like, this must be pads. Yes. And I didn't know what it was, and I bought it just because of the picture ad, and I was like, this has got to be synth pads, and I bought it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. It got tons of patches.
Yes.
And then they upgraded it to Omnisphere after probably about 5 years, but now it's been 15 years or so, and they finally came out. I haven't gotten the new version or anything, but I mean, honestly, some companies like Steven Slate has not updated Trigger in.
They don't have to. They keep selling the first ones.
That's right.
And like I have Omnisphere, I don't need I don't. What more can I do? You know, I
They have
already
like 3,000 patches in there.
Exactly, and it's like I still use 2. You know, why would I? And it's the same with like impulse response packs. Like I don't need a million impulse response. I need the 2 good ones.
Right.
You know, and it's the same with sample libraries. I don't need.
Well, why do they give you? Why do they give you so many?
I don't know. This is something I've said for a long time. I don't understand why they pack so many impulse responses in these packs, for instance. I just want 2 really good ones.
We'll talk.
I do understand why, though, because, you know, from a producer aspect,
yeah.
You know, you get options and you can mix and all that. I understand. But, you know, the people that buy the impulse response packs, they have no idea. They just want to sound good.
Right.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And they don't do that with 1,000 impulse responses. So that's why I'm selling my own impulse response on my website. It's basically, you buy a pack, there's 3 of them in there. 1 mic, 2 mic mix.
I love it.
You know, no, because people just want to sound good from the start. They don't want and need the options. You know, you and I, we need the options, which makes it for a very broad product.
Well, it's funny because I when I talk to producers, and I've interviewed mixers and things like that, and I know that a lot of the old school people, when they would have if they would use a reverb, some old SPX or something that they use. They don't tweak presets. They just go until they find something that sounds good, and they use that. Yeah. And when people are like, "Oh, I wonder how they tweak the thing," it's like they don't tweak. They just push buttons till they find something that sounds good, and they just use that. Yeah. And same thing if you find, you know, with if I open up Omnisphere, I just keep trying out patches till I find one that sounds good, and maybe I'll turn one knob a little bit, but typically I'll just go with whatever the good preset is.
I don't even know what the Omnisphere controls are doing. I just
no
see
idea
it.
either.
Right.
But I will probably buy Omnisphere 3 because I want to see. I want to see if they made it look different,
right.
and if the thing about that particular plugin is it's got way too many options. The way the organization is a mess.
Yes.
Although it sounds great, but it's just a mess.
Yeah.
So, and is there something to be learned from that? Like, I think that the controls on the Quad Cortex really make sense.
Yep.
And Fender had done that on Tone Master.
Yes.
The stomp pedal, you can also turn it as a knob, which is very smart.
Yeah. For guitar players, I think that we're in 2 different worlds right here. We have guitar players. We're very simple. We just want to sound good immediately. And I think the format now is that, you know, you have a signal path. And the guitar players now understand that there's a signal path, like a line where you put different things.
Yes.
And that's basically now the standard for modelers. You know, there is no other way of putting things in order. But for instance, for Sonos, like Omnisphere, we're talking the keyboard guys.
Yeah.
The keyboard guys, they twist and turn.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
So they go like this. They don't have guitar players. We'll never turn master volume up to 10. You know, but keyboard players will. They're like, oh, what does this sound like? And you know, we're a little bit more cautious in how we dial things, while keyboard players do this. And I think that's why Omnisphere is so vast, because at some point people start somewhere and then they make something else. But guitar players, we just want to play guitar. And you know, we just want to have it simple for us. And we don't want to spend time tinkering too much. And I feel the same way, like you said, with delays. I just want to find a good delay and stick there, you know? It's not very often I sit and like, okay, well, a couple less milliseconds. I don't have the time for that. I just want to play.
So I have this Boss, the DDL3 or whatever it is, and so I was talking to my younger brother who plays guitar. He's like, well, have you checked out the new, whatever it is, DDL8 Boss? I said, no. So I went and picked one up at Guitar Center and bring it back and everything. It's got way more buttons on, way more stuff on it. So I start turning it. I don't need all this stuff. I call him back. I was like, John, I don't need all this stuff. He goes, yeah, I wanted you to buy it so you could send it to me.
Smart guy.
And I did. I sent it to him. And that's literally why he did that. He's like, I knew you wouldn't like it. And so can you send it to me? And I was like, yeah, I'll send it to you. But do you think that the difficulty of the axe effects and the programming of it made people, that was an opening in the market that helped Neural DSP?
So I think Fractal were very early with having probably the best modeler sound,
yes.
I would say. They excelled in this. The problem was the user friendliness. And
lack of user friendliness.
Yeah, I would say, yes. But you had to have a computer, you go in and you get the signal path and all that. It's great. But right now, all the modelers sound so good. They have to work on user friendliness, if anything, to even have a chance.
Probably the most important thing now.
Yep. I know. If I'm sitting with a unit, just like you said, and just like, I don't know what I'm doing, interest is completely lost.
Yes, 100%.
So,
and if it doesn't have good presets right off the bat,
yes.
Forget. If it has a preset that's close to something I want, and I can just figure out how to tweak one thing, great. But if the presets aren't great, you've totally wasted.
Because we want to sound good immediately.
Yes.
And too many options is not too good for guitar players. Only for keyboard players.
Yeah.
And producers. But no, that's why the Quad Cortex is doing really well. I think people were already used to the plugin and working on the computer in the plugin, and then on the board it made sense. You know, it's the same layout, sort of. It's not the same look, but people would understand. I think guitar players are way more knowledgeable today because of modelers and plugins.
Interesting.
Because back in the day, I mean, when I was growing up playing guitar, I had no idea that I should use an overdrive in front of an amplifier.
Right.
I would just put it in a loop, like, oh, okay, add some gain. I had no idea. But, you know, these things have educated us to understand, okay, an overdrive is supposed to be put in front of an amplifier sometimes. Or you can put a delay in front of an amplifier. I would never use a delay before an amplifier before. It's a lot easier to just move blocks around and try stuff. But I think that people understand the gear more now. And you can take this single path in the Quad Cortex and apply it to real life in a real amplifier, and it would sound basically the same. In that sense, I think guitar players know way more about their gear nowadays. Okay,
so we have this new Mesa here. We both have this particular the Mesa 2C plus. Is it plus plus or
this
plus?
Is just the 2C plus.
It's 2C plus. Tell me about the difference between this and an old one. You had an old one.
I had an old one that I had for many years. I have plenty.
And they're
of videos
very
of
hard to find.
Very hard to find. Very expensive. 25,000 and up. I would say, on the used market. And I had one that was gifted to me from actually a fan, very early too.
Yeah.
He had two, so he sent one to me and one to another guy, just as a favor. And I had that, and you know, I was set to still have it, you know, and he wanted me to keep it because I would put it to good use, and I did. I did a lot of videos, did a lot of like Metallica videos and stuff like that. But then they released this, and I felt like this sounds so good.
Does.
It's like compared to the originals, I'm like, I don't feel right of having this guy's old amplifier here. I mean, I could be an asshole and sell the amplifier. It was basically mine, but it didn't sit right. So I just asked him if I could send him back his amplifier, just because I have an option now that I think sounds similar and very good in that aspect. So I think personally that Gibson has done a great job with these. They basically took the original amplifiers and perfected them.
Yes.
At least a dual rectifier in that sense. I mean, there was a lot of problems with the earlier dual rectifiers.
My dual rectifier is so modded. My old one from the 90s, I had so many things done to it. And then this one, right out of the gate, sounds killer.
Yeah. And I just plugging in a delay in the effects loop and it works. Sigh of relief for me. There's always a problem. With all my other old rectifiers, there's always something.
Yes.
You know, something's up. But this was like, plug, this is how it was supposed to be. Like, you know, we're just 25 years later, you know, or 30 years even. So no, I'm just not sure like how many people will buy these nowadays. You know, it's I would buy one. I bought these, but a lot of people haven't even played for an amplifier. They don't need an amplifier,
which is pretty amazing. I know a lot of young players that have literally never played through an amplifier.
No. They don't know that you have to, you know, on the Mark IIc Plus, that you have to push the treble and bass and middle at 0 to get that Metallica tone. Like, no one would know this. And they don't know it because on the modelers, it just sounds good anyways.
Right.
You know, they're Mark IIc Plus. And it's a lot of that knowledge is gone and not needed anymore.
Yeah.
Those tricks, and you know, a two screamer into the dual rectifier, those tricks we don't need them anymore.
Right.
Which is a little bit sad as a tube amplifier lover that is lost a little bit in the modern world. But I still like the modern world and what it can offer. And, you know, me being able to bring this small of a pedal board has me just really excited.
Well, it's funny that because I used anytime I use my neural DSP things, I use the computer, the plugins, because I'm not out gigging, so I don't need to put it through the quad cortex. And if I'm going to use modeling, I use the computer versions of the thing. Whereas when I use amps, I mic the amps and bring them back through and stuff. So is the experience similar between using, like, for example, the neural DSP stuff? Does it sound similar in the computer as it does when you're using it?
I think so. So
in the room.
I come from a very I did a lot of production back in the day. So when I record, I always record DI. If anything, just to have the option, to reamp.
Well, you can't even edit if you don't have the DI, you can't even see where the transients are.
You know, I always in the other room where I record and write my music. It's always DI. It's always neural DSP plugin. You know, and it's tried and true. It's the same preset. Always sounds the same. You know, with amplifiers, you never know. Right. You know, they can behave.
That's right.
But the plugins always stay the same. And for me, it's a completely different use. That's for writing. Right there. And eventually, if in demoing, I would say, you know, and sometimes I've even used plugins for albums. If it's like, well, I tried to reamp, but it's like, oh, you know, this plugin's sounding pretty good.
Right.
And it's easy. And, you know, I don't have to. The thing about when you have to reamp is that after you reamp, you can't change the settings. You have to reamp again.
Right.
But with the plugin, you can tweak
all
the way to the mastering process. So, I mean, can you argue with that? No, it's too good. It's too good of tools for this. But I still reamp because it's one of the few things that I'm really passionate about. So at the actual end, I will still reamp the tracks because it's just I think people also expect this from me.
Right.
So I think it's still a very important thing to cling on to for me. What was the question again?
I think you answered it, actually.
Okay.
Ola, so I want to touch upon your, you know, what kind of gear you have, and as far as you have a guitar that you're selling, and you want to talk about that. So
sure. So since 2017, I have my own brand of guitars, Solar Guitars, and basically stemmed from frustration of the guitar industry or business. I've been with several brands before. Like I had a signature guitar with Washburn guitars, for instance, which was a dream come true. I had a Randall signature amplifier and a Washburn signature guitar, very much like what Dimebag had, which is one of my main influences. So very big for me and very stoked. But I got very disappointed in how the guitar business side of things worked. And it's a very old system.
Yes,
of distribution and dealers and salespeople. And it was, as a YouTuber where everything goes fast, it was very frustrating to see how it could take a year for a guitar to come into production even.
Yes.
I remember it so clear because I knew that people, you know, I showed my guitar and people wanted the guitars. Everyone, like my followers, they all wanted to buy the guitars. They were nowhere to be found because these people, the salespeople, they were really trying to sell the guitars to distributors who had absolutely no idea who I was.
Right.
Or who I am. And then those distributors have to convince the dealers about this. And who is this fucking YouTuber guy, you know? And so we knew that people out there wanted to buy the guitars, but there's no way to get them.
Right.
And if they wanted to get them, it would take a full year of, you know, they selling to distributors and dealers, then they make the order. Then there's another 7 months of production.
That's right.
Shipping 1 month, and it's frustrating in a very fast-moving world. And that's one of the main reasons, this frustration, that I started my brand. Because, like, okay, I know people want the guitars. Like, the end consumer want the guitars.
Yes.
So the whole idea about the brand was to sell direct to consumer. Because, I mean, why would I need the middle hand that have absolutely no idea who I am or
Agreed.
what I'm talking about? So it's a very old type of system, and this new that we're selling direct was, I mean, it was a gamble at first. I remember me and my partner in this, we ordered 300 guitars before we even launched. I'm like, okay, let's just, I know that people want the guitars, but I have no idea if they're going to buy them from a new brand. And we launched, and we had the guitars available at launch. So people, as we launched, for me, that's very important. You sell the guitar, people want to have the guitar within days.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we sold out immediately.
Yeah.
Because people want guitars now.
Yeah.
And they don't want to sit and wait for a piece of news from Ibanez that was 1 year ago. They don't have the patience for this.
Agreed.
So that was the whole idea with the company, and that's why I think it's been so successful, is that we can, since we don't have a distributor or a dealer line, we can do whatever we want. We can release whatever we want. And we release guitars every week now. And, we have them available and ship,
Great.
So we're going from the opposite. We're selling last. We're ordering first and doing all the product management, and then we sell last. And we take that out of the equation so people don't have to wait. And that's the bigger part of the success, I think. Now we have distribution in the areas of the world where we can't, touch ourselves, like, China and Brazil and South America in general. But the main part of the world and the Western world, we do cover ourselves, and we ship direct. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun because I get to design guitars, and I get to design my favorite guitars. So it's a lot of fun. And I think one of our strengths is that we're very focused on metal guitars, and that's something I want to keep. I don't want to venture into these other worlds.
Love it.
The Telecasters and all that, because then we lose focus.
Right.
I want to focus on metal guitars. And when people buy a Solar guitar, this is super salesy talking. I'm not used to talking talking like a salesman. But people expect a metal guitar, they get a metal guitar. And no bullshit. People don't have time for bullshit. It's like, here's the guitar. You like it, you buy it. You don't, well, you write an evil comment and see it, It's as easy as that. So no, it's definitely a dream come true, and I also think that this is where we're going to see the world or brand. We're going to see more brands like this.
Yeah,
obviously, a lot more.
Agreed.
Like, more fan focused, more artist owned. So people also feel that they're supporting the artist and not the big corporations.
Yes.
And I think we're seeing a lot of people doing this now, and we got Avasi. Rob Chapman he was earlier than me.
Yep.
But he was one of the bigger ones before me, and then Solar guitars. But we also have Nuno now,
Yep.
Dime guitars. So we have all these funnels where people can direct their support direct instead, and it's the way to go.
So follow Ola if you don't already on YouTube.
Thank you so
Ola,
much.
thank you so much, man.
Dude, before we stop, I just want to thank you for everything you've done to the YouTube community, because I think the whole community got a lift that it needed when you launched and you started your channel. And the amount of knowledge you've been sharing with everyone has really lifted the spirit of the whole community, because there needs to be so much more positivity in this world, and you're bringing it. And I just, that's something that's very close to my heart. I really respect that. And I want to say thank you, because it helped the rest of us as well.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Ola, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Awesome.